We're reconvening into City Council conference that we started earlier. Discussion on item 2, discussion regarding the issuance of a request for proposals for the sale of property in the 100 block West Gray Street.
Pass 3 down that way. Pass the rest down that way. So, a few months ago, and I was looking around to see if Mr. Purinton's still with us. Council had requested the development of an RFP for the sale of both sides of Gray Street here at the 100 block West. Vacant lot across the street, and the Couch Building, as we refer to it, I think partially under the assumption that things would be progressing much more rapidly with the folks on Griffin land and options and alternatives for a shelter location. While Mr. Purinton was assembling that RFP, council received a proposal to purchase the lot on the south side of the street. And I just wanted to make sure that you had it handy so it might jog your memory, receiving something via email in terms of a proposal from a local developer with an idea and some legwork towards developing that lot on the south side of the street. So Mr. Purinton has finished that RFP, and it was ready towards the end of last week, and we thought, okay, now what we need to do is have a quick conversation with council to say, council, you asked for an RFP, we've created that, you have this in your hands. There are a couple of local business owners that are also interested in the south side, maybe not so much the north side. So I just wanted to chat with you a little bit and find out what your pleasure was regarding advancing a proposal that was delivered to you, or to follow through with that RFP process and get the ideas from the other interested parties. The way the RFP is written, an interested party could propose on the south side or the north side or both. And you may get interested parties on one side but not the other, and you may get interested parties on both sides. So
Why would you want to do a quick claim deed instead of a warranty deed?
it's outside my skill set.
Difference between a quick claim deed and a warranty deed. In a quick claim deed, you are not guaranteeing the purchaser that you actually have title. You're saying, whatever title I have, I'm transferring to you. So if it turns out that you really don't have title, that's on the purchaser. A warranty deed, you are warranting that you have the title that you say you have, which also carries with it, if you don't have the title that you say you have an obligation to defend the purchaser should somebody else come along and say, hey, that's my property, not yours. So that's the difference.
The way I read this thing, the buyer is only asking for, and so if they're purposely asking for a quick claim, why would you not want that assurance? Time?
Well, probably goes with it. If you're a more sophisticated purchaser, you probably have the ability to go do your own abstract or go do your own title search. I mean, a lot of what warranty deeds have to do with this title searches is you're going to hire somebody to go down to the courthouse and search the title to make sure that you have the title that you say you have. I mean, if I'm a fairly sophisticated sort of purchaser, I may not really want to pay that expense. It may be okay for me to take a quick claim deed, especially if it comes from a municipality. I mean, I would hope that the record for title with regard to most of the property owned is pretty small, because we've had it for quite some time, and it's really clear that the city owns that, and there's no question with regard to ownership.
Okay, well, thank you.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Questions from council? Thoughts from council? Yes, sir.
I guess if we were to agree to sell this piece of property, we'd be able to have any kind of guarantee that it doesn't become like a private parking lot, or I know we don't own the Goodman property, but what happens to that house that's there? It's one of the oldest houses in Norman. I'm sure we'll get questions about it, even though it's not our property, and if they obtain it, they can do whatever they want with it, but that's just a question I anticipate hearing for sure. If that block is redeveloped into housing, people will ask about that, I'm sure. And then, yeah, if we did sell it and then their plans don't go through for building something, would hate to see it just become like a private lot, like we see in other places.
If
We could turn it
council
into a
says,
parking lot,
right, yeah,
that's-
if council
and make
says,
revenue off of it.
go ahead and advance that request for proposal. All the proposals get evaluated and the ability to say, we believe that proposal checks the boxes council's most interested in seeing. And then I'll look to Rick to say, you would negotiate specific deal points with that proposer. And in terms of zoning, I don't know if we even took a look at the current zoning on the vacant lot. There may be some zoning and or platting necessary. So if that could turn into
It'd be in the
PUD
form-based
and-
code area, so, yeah.
in terms of conformity.
Didn't that house used to be a doctor's house or a doctor's? Something,
I don't remember.
it was, yeah, it's way
Could
before.
have probably been, yeah, so many things. It's been like a vintage store, it's been a gallery before, stuff like that, at least in my lifetime.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
I saw where the builder was familiar with Center City form-based code and all that. I'm still for an RFP, and I understand the request to do a shorter timeline. What is a short timeline?
I think you would, in this particular scenario, with any interested party, it would not take, I would say 4 weeks on the outside to be able to get all those ideas with the detail to take into consideration to achieve your goals. Obviously, you've got interested parties that have already done a ton of legwork and you're ready to go really quickly.
So 4 weeks to put it out there and get them back. And then what is the quick review process?
I don't
timeline?
think, I mean, I wouldn't anticipate a dozen responses. I would anticipate 3, maybe 4, that I think could be evaluated in the matter of a day or 2 following submittals. So it would be available to hit the street tomorrow. So here towards the end of September, before the end of October, have the due date. And, potentially second council meeting in November, you're awarding a project to go forth.
Okay, well, I'm for an RFP just to see what's out there and what best matches what we'd like to see.
You're the adjudicator in that or the?
Staff has a pretty good understanding about what council is hoping to see, and staff would do the initial review and make a recommendation based on all of council's inputs as to which proposal we think checks the most boxes. And then everything's subject to negotiation on the part of the council with, that specific developer to go forward.
Any other thoughts from council?
I mean, we're all pretty much on the same page, and we don't like to see housing, like a downtown housing thing go in, so, yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that. I don't know if we're all on the same page, but yeah.
Does that fit with their,
This
timeline I
does
see in this right here?
close. I mean, they have the ability to go super duper fast. I think if you don't at least put them on the street for a little while, you're gonna catch some heat from others who have expressed interest and, we're in anticipation of an RFP since council had already directed Mr. Parrington to develop such a vehicle.
Because I do agree, I don't want to miss the opportunity on this one. We have owned this piece of property for 12 years. There's been no interest in it that I know of. And I can't remember in my lifetime there ever being anything there, in that lot anyway.
I'd heard rumors that maybe it would be a vertical parking structure. It is not of size to really make, you'd lose too many parking spaces in the
Well,
driveway. It's not that big.
the parking study anticipated that a second downtown, excluding a county parking garage, but like if the city were to do parking garage, number one would be our current Gray Street parking lot that we already own. And that a future west downtown parking structure could be right there, but it would anticipate that the city would have acquired from Santa Fe to that whole block,
Right.
just like we have with the Gray Street lot down there. So, I don't know that I foresee, especially if there is a county one, and then eventually maybe the city does one, I don't know. I don't know if there'd be a third one anytime in the near future that would be necessary for that, so yeah, I definitely want to take advantage of the opportunity and try to get something built there.
And we will move expeditiously to take full
Anybody disagree?
advantage, strike while the iron is hot.
I don't see any difference.
I mean, their initial, what was it? They said they would sign the contract, conduct the environmental studies, and close the transaction in less than 12 weeks. I'm hearing maybe a month for the RFP process to gather those, and then 1 to 2 days to go through them. So that doesn't sound too long, honestly.
That keeps everybody happy that they had the opportunity to propose.
Is there anything further that you wanted to add?
That was all we were hoping for, was that direction.
That's all we were hoping.
And tomorrow will be on the website and it'll be shipped out to any party who had requested a copy.
And I'd just say the benefit of doing the RFP is to see what ideas are in the community, because if it doesn't work here, it might be good to know what people are thinking that could be put elsewhere.
So, yeah, we just, when we looked at some of our neighboring SEC cities, downtowns that, they're 150-year-old cities. And they started out with really wide downtown streets and 3- and 4-story historic buildings. So they have a lot of interesting downtown loft apartment activities that happen in original structures. And we just didn't have that many multi-story buildings. We had a lot of 1- and 2 stories, but we really didn't start out with that kind of infrastructure to facilitate housing downtown. So it'll have to be accommodated mostly through infill, like this one.
There's a lot of small towns in Oklahoma that have downtowns that are bigger, like have a bunch more big old buildings than we do.
Yeah.
Like Shawnee, for example, where they have, 6-story brick buildings that were hotels back 100 years ago and now could be converted into apartments. And I always wish, I wish we just had like one of those old buildings that was that big that could be done that way, but we don't have any.
I'll bet you ADA accessibility
Yeah.
is so much easier in new construction than trying to retrofit,
Yeah.
150-year-old building, no doubt about it. But exciting what's in front of us. So we'll keep you posted. That'll be on the street tomorrow. 30 days later, we'll expect responses back and keep you posted